From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Lockdown for 3 weeks enforced by the police. Johnson declares a national emergency in an historic address to the nation.
Prime Minister has announced the most drastic limits to our lives that the UK has ever seen in living memory. The aim, he says, is to save lives in this time of national emergency.
Stay at home. Boris Johnson's dramatic order to the British people in a desperate attempt to beat the spread of coronavirus.
On the 23rd of March 2020, Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that the UK would be going into a national lockdown for 3 weeks. This meant that non-essential shops were closed, people were advised to work from home, and gatherings of more than 2 from different households were no longer permitted outside. As time went on, there was still one place that remained busy, if not became even busier, which was hospitals. Soon enough, NHS staff began to feel the pressure of looking after patients with the virus. Intensive care units began to fill up by the second, and other wards had to be transformed into intensive care units to look after patients with the virus. Nurses began risking their own lives to save others. I had the opportunity to speak to some nurses to gain a better insight on what it was like working frontline COVID.
When it first happened, like last year March, you just was put in the deep end and we just got on with it. And then it got really, really difficult, quite intense, and you found your own ways to cope with it.
It wasn't easy to manage it, but you just have to manage. The pressure was there because the patients with the coronavirus, you are sort of the person they see on a daily basis because the families and relatives were not allowed in to visit. So they sort of rely on you. They're very anxious and you just have to reassure them.
Totally different experience because I have been doing nursing for about 25 years. Nobody could really prepare you for a pandemic. It was so difficult.
It affected my job in a way like you sort of sit back and think because it's something you never expect will happen. You sort of sit back and think and value your job more, knowing that most people that come across you on your line of job rely on you and you just have to deliver.
You know, when the lockdown eases the bit that we could meet up, 6 of us, and I did not want to do that at all because I thought, because I'm always with the COVID patient, so I did not see any of my friends or my family apart from my daughters and my husband. The hardest part would be you see patients coming into you, walking, doing everything, and then after a couple of days they would contract COVID, and then the downhill, their journey, the ends so abruptly. Seeing that was very difficult.
The hardest part is people coming in, within 48 hours they go. Knowing that the family were not there, knowing that they were not able to say goodbye to their loved ones were not able to come and hold their hands, and then the hardest part of it is that you have to make the phone call to tell the family, or your mom, your dad, your husband passed away. It could be anybody. It's very, very emotional.
Even though we are healthcare workers and we do have the same fears the public has, so it has not been easy.
It's affected me emotionally because when you see people dying, you're holding their hands, you're trying to make anything within your means to sort of reassure them that they're going to be better, and you turn your back and they are gone. It's very emotional torture.
After such a tough year, where many lives have been lost and many have lost their loved ones, will 2021 be the year where we can think of returning back to some form of normality?
We should take comfort that while we may have more still to endure, better days will return. We will be with our friends again. We will be with our families again. We will meet again. But for now, I send my thanks and warmest good wishes to you all.